All right, listen, everybody. We are live at BCMC, and we're going to have a panel discussion here on where we're headed with the future and what is going on. So, with me today, and I got to get it right because I've been getting my chops busted over here a little bit. Sitting to the right of me, Tony and Acampa from Shelter Systems. Welcome. And then over here, Aaron Love. I love me some Aaron Love. He's a lot of fun. You'll see. Trust me on this one. So with Estiframe, and then obviously we have Greg Godbout from Soukup America. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for being here. BCMC 2021 has been a great show so far for all of us. Today's first question that we're going to talk about is how can construction technology, component manufacturing, and off-site construction help meet the needs and the demand of today? And why don't we start over with Greg and work our way this way?
Sounds good.
How that's good.
There goes Aaron again.
I'm
jumping in. Aaron, come on now.
Yeah. Well, I think the industry itself is at a particular point where it's evolving. I think it's been pretty consistent for the last 20, 30 years building as it is, but based on staffing issues, logistics, the other components are now pushing itself to change. And it's going to have to change through adaptation to possible automation, to understanding standardization, to look at how the raw materials are affecting the marketplace. So it's at a pivotal point right now that it really needs to start to engage in itself. So,
right.
Yeah.
We're starting to see that happen, and it's really prevalent at the show. Based on the people that are here and what's happening with equipment buying, the technology that's here. Aaron, how about yourself?
Yeah, well, first of all, I totally agree with everything you said, Greg. Thanks for starting us off, breaking the ice there for us. But really what's happening here is the offsite construction technology is really leading the way for construction industry right now. But what's cool is that it's not going to stop there. It's not going to be stuck in offsite construction. So it's going to trickle out into everybody else that's doing things not in an offsite, manner. So we're teaching the industry and everybody else. So we're not just a solution for a very defined thing. Right. We're a solution for a specific thing, but what we're doing is going to implement across the board with everybody else.
Right. And I think you're absolutely right on that. I do believe that offsite's going to grow tremendously. Components is going to grow tremendously over the next couple of years. And really, we're going to see a much broader, usage of what we've been doing for so long, all of us. Tony, how about yourself?
Yeah.
Tony, you got a different viewpoint, right?
Sure
You're on the HR side. What are you seeing?
So not just the HR side, but also come from the design management side as well. So, we deal with customers all day looking for solutions and how they can get products on their site quicker, faster, put up products and buildings quicker and faster. So, at where I work, we're constantly looking for innovations, ways that we can maybe change out the design itself and provide more components to our customers to help them frame buildings faster. And that's what this is all about. What can we do? Can we swap out that header maybe for a component truss, or maybe we can swap out that window or door opening for a complete system that's plated together to give them flexibility just to install and move on and not worry about all the dimensional issues that we might see in the field.
Yep. I have something to say there. Sorry, Dave.
Love to hear it.
Yeah. So you brought up design, right? Everything we sell here is based on that. If your design is correct, then guess what? The products that you're going to purchase here at the SCCA at the BCMC 2021 Ohio, or not Ohio, we're in Omaha. Okay, so
He was out late last night.
no, I'm not too late. Okay, so the design, think about it. If it's correct, then the products, it's going to prove efficiency. It's going to make everything better for everybody across the board.
No doubt.
Yeah, and truly we have to. I mean, this leads into workforce development and where we're going with this. Right now, there is more demand for housing than we've seen in forever, but we do not have the workforce to build it, manage it, design it. All of those different things are happening across the board. So with that, that's where I think offsite automation is really going to, help do more with less. Would you guys agree with that?
I think that automation is a very important component for now and also for the future. I think there are many elements of automation needs to be understood. I think that the raw material components need to be also addressing the possibility of automation where it could be added into. I think the scope of the projects, let's say what people want to add for equipment, or they want to go with their machinery, or let's say their new facilities, they have to consider automation for the future. Can they future-proof their new facility to allow for automation, I think is a good key component. It needs to get there. It needs to get there relatively quickly, but it needs to be taken in strides to be able to match the budgets and the scope of what they're trying to achieve. What I think is very important for our industry is that we don't have failures, right? So we have to really think about what we're doing. We have to think about how this is going to improve our clients, how it's going to improve the industry, and how it's going to improve the end product. So that means more thought has to be put into it. It is very exciting to plan automation, but automation in the correct steps is wise, in my opinion. So,
Absolutely agree with that. No, that's great. If automation is phenomenal because, like I said, you can take the design, you can take the product that's been approved. We know this is how it needs to be built. We've modeled it. We've looked over it. We, put our stamp on. All right, now we go there. So the automation, what that's going to do, that's going to make sure that what we planned actually happens on the job site, right? We're going to make sure that the end result is what it was intended to be from the beginning.
And automation, I mean, you just hear that word, it's exciting.
Yep.
It's so cool. And, in this industry today, working, I'm more handling people, building relationships with people, to me, I want to hear what they have to say on the floors. I want to go out to talk with the guys that have put the pieces and parts together and understand more about what their struggles are, what they're looking for, and things that maybe guys like you guys can help and solve those problems and those issues.
Absolutely. Speaking of automation, I think I had a robot make me a cup of coffee this morning.
Wasn't that awesome? We'll be showing you. There are robots here.
The coffee was like, okay.
But it's right over there. We're going to show it. And it's actually really good coffee, right? Espresso, I think. They really took it up a notch at the show here this year. So, all right, automation, technology, we're still lacking the workforce. And how do we get the workforce in? What's going to drive that? And Tony, I want to start off with you on this because I know this is a conversation you have often.
Yeah, so, working on the HR side, design side, spending time on the production floor, and, I'm a CM, I come from the CM world. So, to me, again, it's about those relationships. It's about bringing teams together. Okay, so when what we're trying to do is make sure that we're an employer of choice. So the labor force is tough, but how do we make ourselves more attractive in the workforce area? Okay, so what we're doing is we're bringing teams together from production, from design, from HR, from IT, and we're figuring out these problems and we're solving them together and creating an environment where people want to come to work because their voice and their opinions are heard. That's what it's all about. I mean, that's what gets me jazzed up more than anything. Is all that. Working together to solve these problems. Yeah. So that's what, becoming an employer of choice. The workforce, it's tough to get there, but word spreads when Jimmy's ideas gets implemented and he might get rewarded for that idea, word spreads and then people want to come work for you. And that's what we're trying to focus on more than anything today.
Yeah. I think in our industry, that's an aging population inside the construction industry. It's been known for many years. The craftsmanship is kind of now starting to retire. I think it's important for companies like ours, Soukup America. We're driving to find good staffing levels from outside of our industry. Can we pull in from particular, let's say, technical colleges, universities? We're lucky enough to be up in Vancouver, Canada, and we're able to pull from a really great wood program from UBC, right? But they're not the people who are coming out of that program. So we've got some good staff members from that side. They're not so say tainted on how things are done in an old way. They come in a fresh new approach, and those fresh new approaches what adding to the opportunities in the industry, which will then hopefully pull more people in. We need to pull a more diverse workforce in. We need to bring in new ideas. We need to keep evolving and changing to this industry rather than just looking for framers building things. We need to augment it. It's an exciting industry. We need to keep adding to it.
Absolutely. Totally agree. So from my perspective, I think we need to make it cool. What we're doing, we need to make this cool. Kids coming out of college, they're
sexy.
Or that, my wife's watching, so I don't want to, no. Okay, so say we have 70% of the workforce that we had 5-10 years ago, right? Well, how do we solve that? Well, what's happening is people are, coming out of high school or going into colleges. There's all these cool career fields, right? So the more technology that we provide to everybody across the industry, that the more it's going to attract people to want to do these type of jobs. Because, hey, look, you know what I get to do at work today? I get to go and play with this machine, or I get to go and do this. And look, it prints this beautiful layout here. How does it do that? Or I get to spin a house around in 3D, and I get to actually make decisions on where this is, built, or, things like that. So I think we got to make it cool. We got to make it fun. We got to, you know, bring passion into this industry. So I think we could solve it like
and
that.
make it sexy.
And
it sexy.
That's the
I'll
sexy
say it.
part.
Well, just kind of,
But I don't want to make Greg blush.
That's okay. I'm probably read it already.
you know, again, from more of a design side of things, you know, we spend a lot of time in BIM, okay, building information modeling, and anyone who's watching this knows me. I'm a big proponent of that. You know, we spend a lot of time working with the MEP side of things and really focusing on the 3D model and the design and how things come together and solve problems together, you know, outside of just the component world. You know, it's been an amazing journey to see where we are today and where we were 10 years ago. It was just unbelievable. Just seeing that progress keep moving forward just has been key in the workforce development part and creating those efficiencies that we're seeing today.
Yeah, and I agree with everything everybody said here, and I also agree that we do need newer technology, the BIM, the 3D, the AR, VR, all of those things to help us attract the younger generation. Because if we could just attract a few of them, and then they start realizing the amount of growth potential within our industry.
Yeah.
We talk about, to me, this is like the airlines of the 60s, right? It was the coolest thing to become an airline pilot back in the 60s. And I think that's kind of where we're headed in our industry. I mean, we're at the bottom, you know, below agriculture when it comes to innovation and technology. And I know there's some comparisons there. We can argue both ways. But reality to me is there's only one way to go, and that's up, and we got to build it better. And we're all, you know, taking part in trying to do that, which I think is wonderful.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, the wood, like you said, the wood industry is behind the times in that respect. But so was the tech industry 20 years ago. Right. So was the automotive industry 30 years ago. They're all using technology. They all had to transform. So what is probably now boring for the younger people going into that industry is now potentially exciting for our industry. Right?
Yeah.
We need to standardize. We need to add automation. We need to add in the right software components to be able to get us there. So we need the younger minds to be able to push that forward.
Absolutely. Totally agree.
So let's talk about, you know, with creating the efficiencies in the industry, what are those efficiencies that you guys are seeing? What are we doing from the component side, from the manufacturing side that's going to help us or help builders and developers out there be more efficient? Go ahead, Aaron.
Okay.
I didn't
You guys always lead off.
I haven't let Aaron go first.
Okay. See, you haven't let me. You push me in front of the crowd. One thing I'm doing is, you know, we're trying to provide the technology to people that want it. There's people out there that see that there's a labor shortage and they want to take advantage. They want to be the ones that rise to the top. And so, you know, we talk with those guys and we help consult them. Hey, you know, what design platform is best for you, for your business? What design software is going to integrate better with your processes? You know, whether you're a high volume framer doing, you know, 4-story, 300 unit buildings. Well, it's like, okay, well, you know, this software might not work for that, but I know one that will. Let's get you on that. And then, hey, you know, here's some equipment that you can utilize, you know, putting that in a warehouse, you know, getting those things pre-cut, pre-built, sent out to the job site. Now they're empowering their current team to do 20, 30% more production in less time. It's amazing. I love it.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. So, you know, we're at BCMC. We're here to figure out ways to become more efficient. You know, shelter systems, company that work for us here, we're spending money. We're here to buy equipment. We're looking to improve our table line. We're looking to improve our stalls, all of that. So, you know, and shelter systems, you know, spends time here to do that. But we also look around our area to see who we can bring in to help solve problems too. So again, you know, I've mentioned it before. We get with our teams on the floors. Hey, what are you struggling with? You know, why isn't this press pressing the way it needs to press? What are the struggles? You know, so, you know, we bring teams in to solve these problems, like I've been saying. But looking outside of our building, bringing in companies in and building our own machinery, you know, employing them to build us something, an idea that maybe someone has to say, hey, this press could move faster if we did this, or we could get more widgets out the door if we did that. So those are the things that we're focused on in getting those efficiencies out.
Yeah. I mean, for us, we're at Soukup America, we're at a very unique position because we deal with all sizes of clients, large, small, but we are a project-based company. So it's a unique situation where we look at a blank canvas to any client that comes to us, whether they're very, very complex in what they want to do or in a very simplistic way. I spoke to a gentleman today. He doesn't want any automation at all. He wants things to be as manual as possible. That's because that's how they're driven. So since we're in that position, we can look at everything that's going on We can look at what the potential bottlenecks are, where they want to go in the future, what are their budgets are, what is the overall scope of the project. It's very unique. And from there, we can start to say, okay, how do we collaborate?
Yeah.
Right? We
Yep.
like to play well with others.
Yeah.
So we say, okay, this could be a perfect fit for you. If you looked at this, this might be a wise way to go in the future. We're not really that great at this, but we're amazing at that, right? So we can play with it and then help the industry move forward. What comes from that is a better product.
Sure.
People learn from it.
Right.
Connections get built.
Yep.
Marketplace grows. All of those things come from that kind of project base. And I think more and more companies here at BCMC, BCMC.
Wait, where are we?
Well, we're at the
Ohio?
SPCA.
SPCA.
Yeah, right,
There's
right.
a lot of acronyms. So
I guess, was that a nice way for that guy saying that's the way we've always done it when he said
Yeah.
we were talking about we don't want any automation?
Yeah.
But what was interesting from the conversation that was 20, 30 minutes long for
Yeah.
him and I, he started to open his mind to, well,
awesome.
maybe we could achieve that this way.
Absolutely.
Maybe we can
That's awesome.
future proof it this way.
Yeah.
Where do I want to
That's
be in
about
5
right.
years? He has the demand.
Yeah.
He has well over 400 homes to build in any given year, right? So he's got the volume, he's got the demand. He's thinking manual only, right? Now he's opening his mind up. Okay, a couple steps here, I could do that. Why would I do that? How can I get there?
It's awesome.
It's conversations, it's connections, it's building.
Relationships.
Whether we have the right solution for him or not is not as important. What it is that he's improving.
Automation, I think, makes sense for everybody, but it's finding that balance, for each individual person that's trying to, get to that next level.
So
It's a little scary.
It is. So it is. But let's talk about some of the legacy builders and manufacturers that are out there. Where do they start? Everybody's so busy. Nobody wants to lose line time. This is all a big consideration for them. Is there some ways to plug and play and not disrupt?
Well, they can give me a call.
Right.
Maybe we should do that.
Maybe we should.
I'm not sure. I'm not allowed to give my number out over the air, right?
Right. No. So there he goes again. It's the wild
He's
card.
good.
Where's security?
So the plug and play part's always interesting because that's like a perfect world where everything kind of
Yeah.
comes together, and it's that's not the real world, right?
Yeah.
We struggle with that. Downtime is something that we cannot afford,
Right.
period. So in a manufacturing facility, other options of plug and play out there, we've seen some of that out there. We're seeing some of that here
Right.
today, and any of those types of things that we're looking at plug and play. Are we getting better efficiency from that? Maybe not, but maybe we're getting better service down the long road. That's kind of what we're thinking about too, right? So that's where our minds are while we're here.
Yeah, well, I think also it's just understanding what their business needs are, right? And because I don't want to really tell anybody or sell anybody on any piece of equipment that's gonna, hey, if you do this, I'm not in the business of convincing people.
Right.
I'm in the business of listening, even though you don't believe that. And hearing what he said that off screen. No, I'm in the business of listening to what our customers need. I had a guy today say, "Hey, what if I do this?" And it totally stumped me. I'm like, "Wow, okay, well, we can add a sensor here, and now it tells you now on the back end what your inventory was in case my guy put in a wrong stick size or something like that." Right? So just listening to the market, listening to the builders out there, figuring out what they want to accomplish, what they want to do, and then building a process that fits their needs.
Yeah, sure.
It's collective discussions. It's brainstorming. It's being presented for people who come to us. Anyways, they present us with a particular problem, but they're looking at it in a very myopic way because this is their problem, right? But when you start to open up your mind and you start to realize that it should be a collective discussion as to what is the problem that's going on in the shop, but where do you see things downstream? What's happening upstream? Is that upstream being affected by the raw material side? There's so many things that need to be opened up and discussed. An environment like this starts the conversation, but the biggest work is done when you sit down, you really start to map it out. Once you start to map it out, you start to see opportunities. Opportunities present the scope of the work. The scope of the work presents the budgets. The budgets present the reality, right? But it's that collective discussions that has to begin. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's what problem are we solving?
Yes.
And how can we come together as a group and talk about those problems? Because we may all view it a little bit differently and really focus on which one stands out for everybody.
Correct.
And I think these conversations, having group roundtables and the industry coming together, competitors coming together and kind of talking about what's going on, because there's so much room for all of us. There's so much room for growth, and there's so much room to do it better. And I think that's great. Moving forward with components and offsite construction, the quality of the buildings and the homes that come out of that. You guys want to touch on that a little bit? The efficiencies and the qualities that the consumer gets, because this is all about the end user in the end, right? It's about the efficiencies that the manufacturers can achieve, but without the consumer, none of us have any work.
We're from our side of it, Soukup America, and also our sub company Rangate. We've always been driven to the high performance side. It's been a natural part of our DNA with our window systems and our machinery for the window systems and the toolings related to that. But I think the performance sides of building envelopes are a key component for the overall sustainability of the earth, and also for the sustainability of the industry. We need to look at ways to be able to improve the envelope. So that means the wall units, that means the ceilings, that means the floors, that means the vac systems that are used with it. We need to really treat all of it as one. And then once you start driving towards that, you can start to build efficiencies in the building structures.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of work being done on passive house. It's the gold standard of ultra high performance. There's nothing wrong with being passive-esque, which is to be a mid-range performance. You need to lead yourself to the higher performance areas. The only way to get there is you have to build standardization. The only way to get through standardization is to do what we've been talking about here, right? They all beget the other. And performance is not being talked about a great deal here, but I think the next event could talk about that even further.
Well, I don't think you have to sacrifice performance for efficiency. And that's one thing that's cool is actually, we can actually improve performance and the quality of the project through efficiency. That's one thing that's key is, working with the architects and the engineers, getting their models to kind of integrate more closely with what we're doing as far as, architect's going to design how something looks, but they're not designing the guts of that wall, right? We're the guys doing that. And the engineer is telling us how that stands, how that beautiful structure is going to be supported. And then we kind of coming in at the 50-yard line and then building our stuff around that and trying to get that out to the field. So one of the things that's cool is, at Estiframe, we've been able to.
He's going into the sales with no sales pitch.
Okay, I was teasing.
Yeah, but I know it. I know. I did the wild card. We always have a wild card on the show. But hey, listen. In all honesty, going back to I know where you were headed with some of this, and also yourself, Greg, is the building it better, the passive house, green efficiency, energy efficiency, all of those things is coming out of offsite.
Yeah.
You're not cutting the 2x4 across toe your boot the same way every time on a job site. Not a chance, especially when you have thousands of cuts to do on site. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to efficiency and it comes to air barriers, comes to a tighter construction, offsite, is the way to go. You can't compare it. So you're already leaps and bounds ahead of somebody on site. Yeah. And I think that's kind of what you were alluding to as well.
Yeah, it's also you start to manage the QC component of the end product, right?
Right.
When you have this the offsite world, being able to control how things are being built, you can start to optimize not only in the performance side, but you can also start to look at how you're kitting, right? How is that kitting helping you to be able to maybe buy better? How is that able to help you design better, right? It all comes from looking at the performance side of the envelope itself, and then how does that then trickle out into my production side? So,
on this, looking at it from the CM perspective on the quality side, we're dealing with imperfect material and imperfect people all day, every day. Right. You guys have solutions on how to temper that. Real strong in the quality control side of things too. So, we want to make sure that we're providing our customers with the best quality we possibly can. And then through those types of programs and speaking with you guys and doing those relationships, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, and it's that collaboration, not even amongst people here, but with the builders, with the developers that are out there. It's a team effort. Yeah. Quite honestly, to move our industry forward, it's going to be a team effort. To get the workforce back, it's going to be a team effort. And I think it's going to take a lot of focus and really understanding where we can be as an industry and how do we gain those efficiencies, and how do we achieve what we all would love to see. And that's, better housing, more housing, meeting the housing crisis that's out there. And at the same time, doing it better.
Yeah. I see a lot of companies also stepping up to the plate to fill the void because, trust guys. I see there's like 20 trust companies that have come by and they're saying, hey, I want to step up to the plate and help. And so they're saying, I want to get in the walls. You know what I mean? So hey, let's talk about panels. And so people are stepping up to the plate and filling in that void and stepping out of their comfort zones and implementing more technology into their businesses. It's great. I love seeing it.
Oh, perfect. So, Greg, we're going to start with you. We're here at BCMC 2021 with the SBCA. I know it confuses everybody when they sit here and we're live. They're like, oh my God, what was that? All right. And this has been a really phenomenal show. Tell me, what's the most exciting thing that you're seeing here at the show?
I think, personally, just having the open-mindedness of the people who are on the floor, the clients who have come here. I think there's definitely a drive towards the future. I think people are thinking more long-term than they ever have before. They're thinking out of the box. They're willing to discuss, which that engagement for us is tremendous. We need to have that type of clientele that has that open-mindedness. There's technology all around us, and that's the exciting part of it. But I think it's the clients. It's the people who have come here with that, how do I do something better? Why would I do something better? Where should I go? Who's the best one to help me do that? Right? There's that kind of conversation, which for us is where we want to start.
You want to add to that?
Same question. Yeah. No. So for me, it's really what gets me excited about being here is seeing the youth, the passion. There's somebody else now is going to be carrying the torch for this industry, and that's you're truly seeing it out here on the floor. I mean, a lot of young people. I love it.
Sure.
I was going to say exactly that. Youth that you see
sorry.
around here. That's okay. It's okay.
Well, I think this is important because you aren't sitting next to each other. And
no offense to Greg.
No offense at all. But the collaboration.
You can hit him. It's okay. I got it on camera.
That's why I saw the rear. The collaboration part too, right? Like you mentioned, but just to see competitors come together and say, "This is what I'm struggling with," and then I may not directly compete with you because I am in a different area than where you work. But hey, I can offer you advice and back and forth. That's what this BCMC has always been about, and it's just been an amazing show.
Well, here's going to be our last question, right? How do we strengthen the relationships with the traditional builders? Maybe they haven't incorporated components or automation into their business. What do you wish they would ask each of you?
You have to
start.
Aaron, you have so much to say, Aaron. Come on now.
What do I wish they would ask me? I wish they would ask me what my thoughts are. What do you think is going to improve? What do you think you could do for me? And then on the opposite end, I want to hear from them. What can I do to help them?
Sure.
Sure.
Tony, you want to?
Yeah, I'm thinking about that answer. Help, right? Maybe help me. I don't know. You want to hear, because again, we're here to help. We're here to surround ourselves. We're in this together. We're a team, and that's what it's all about. Just help.
Yeah.
Breaking down the barriers.
Isn't that what
break
it's about,
them down.
right?
Build them. You can only build a marketplace if there are no barriers, right? If you create an environment where people can share, forget about competition. There's going to be competitors everywhere, right?
Everywhere.
We're always even competing against ourselves. The key is to break it down, not be worried about who you're speaking to, why you're speaking to them. Just keep evolving.
And we need competition. Competition is healthy. It helps us all be better, helps us grow. And I have seen over and over here at dinners and everything else, everybody sitting down just having a great time talking. Doesn't mean they're sharing all their back office data, but they at least collaborate, they talk, and they discuss, how do we move the ball forward? How do we become a bigger, piece of the market share in the traditional building world?
We're only an industry if we grow together.
That's right. Well, listen, I appreciate all of you coming on the show. Tony, Aaron, Greg, you guys are awesome.
Thank you.
We are at BCMC 2021 with the SBCA, and this has been an absolutely wonderful show. We're on day 2. There's a lot of business happening here. Hopefully, we're bringing you at home some value, and we hope to see you next year. Thanks for joining us today. Bye now.